faculty of global health here at the University of Washington. It's about one of my very first experiences working in another country, in another setting, what we used to call international health. That country was Nepal. And really what I learned there convinced me that that was what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, working in international health. But this is before that, so this is sort of back at the beginning. Can you hear okay? It was only a few months into my new life in rural Nepal when I realized that I was changing into someone I didn't really know. It had sounded like my dream job. 2 years working as a nurse, trekking village to village in an exotic foreign land, leading a health team in a district with no roads, no electricity, and only one little radio telephone high on a hill. I was anxious to live a totally different life and to learn about another culture, but I had no idea how much this adventure would teach me about myself. My job was to go out for 2 or 3 weeks at a time with a team of Nepali staff who served as vaccinators and porters to conduct an immunization campaign and also provide some simple health teaching. One morning, before I started the day's work, I decided to take a Nepali bath at a local water source instead of the usual sponge bath in my tent, which was all that was normally available. I rose early, without the tea I was usually served before breakfast, and found Sita, who was one of the local women on my team, a woman I grew to love very much, who said she would join me. So we filed along a narrow path out of the camp, and after a short distance came to a clearing. Ahead of us, icy spring water poured out of an 8-inch square opening in a rocky bank covered with vines and vegetation. It was protected from view by surrounding bushes. The air was fresh. It was free of the dusty barnyard smells that I was used to from the villages. Sunlight sparkled through the trees, enough for warmth, but without that unpleasant feeling that I was in the spotlight. Here it is, I thought, my fantasy, living well with simple, bare necessities without the trappings of civilization. The spot was peaceful, it was secluded. After weeks and weeks of feeling quite overwhelmed by the crowds of people and constant activity in my work, I was elated. It was also the perfect place to practice the public bath ritual that all Nepali women master, and there were 2 local women at the tap who were very happy to share their expertise. So it involved wrapping a kind of a sarong under my arms and around my body. Then I worked my way out of my clothing underneath it and then wash discreetly. With every chilling splash of water on my bare arms, my neck, my legs, I could feel this sensation of the tension was lifting, my spirits were rising. My flip-flops made sloshing noises on the rocky floor, and bird songs filtered down from the trees. I'd learned that putting clothes on again over wet skin under this sarong was a challenge, but it was worth it. And the joy of feeling cool and clean, at least until the next afternoon of trudging up and down the trails. I nearly completed washing when I heard childish tittering from the rocks above us. I looked up, and peeking through the bushes was a gaggle of kids ranging from about 6 to 10 years old, delighted with their front row view of this fascinating curiosity, me. They shrieked in delight when they noticed that I saw them, preparing to flee, but clearly savoring all the excitement. Now these were the children that I'd love to tease and interact with when I first came to Nepal. But this time, every muscle in my body tensed up. "Jesus, Sita," I yelled. But then I lowered my voice. "These kids are following me again. Will you get them out of here?" The momentary sense of peace was gone. My blood pressure must be sky high, I thought. Why in hell can't I even get a moment to myself? That dull ache at the base of my rib cage was back in a flash, that feeling that I would never again be able to enjoy a relaxed, deep breath and the peace it brought. I could not believe how angry I was. This isn't like me, I thought. And once again I asked myself how long I would be able to do this work, to live like this.